Hello, this is not a usual tutorial. It doesn't start from scratch. The scene is already finished and the scene is pretty trivial indeed. It's a particle system which creates very few particles per second, and I wanted to experiment a little bit with this command here. Under the Mesh menu you find the utilities and you find add trails to particles. So I created a particle system and I added trails to the particles, and one of the ways to connect the particles or to interpret the trails is to connect the particles. The particles still behave independently, which is quite cool. So that was done quite fast, but then I thought, why not connect the particles, which show up as bubbles in this rendering setting here, and I shaded them with a honey shader. Why not connect them with a curve? Since Arnold does render curves, I wanted to do that, and that took about 2 hours until I got a sort of finished result, and I'm still a little bit puzzled about how to proceed with it. And you see the particles as blue and pink dots. Now I added an air field which pushes the particles from left to right. And now you see that curve developing. It's actually a double curve because it goes back to the beginning. It's a closed loop, so to say. And on the right you just saw the camera, which was my actual rendering camera, which I set up later actually. And here you see how the particle stream goes on. When we look at the end of this process, we see that they don't get really further very fast. And they kind of cramp there and clump there, and but that doesn't matter. I wanted to find out how many particles were in the scene at this place, and it's 87. And when I render this, it looks like this, which is not really exciting. That's the sky dome light now. The really exciting look is when you go into that against the wind, so to say. And that's where I positioned the camera. And now you see all of a sudden it gets such a nice and dynamic image. It's pretty abstract, it doesn't mean anything, but that's how art is defined, basically modern art. It doesn't really directly mean anything. It gives the viewer the option to interpret it. I activated motion blur in the render settings, and that's why Maya starts from the beginning in order to find the proper in-betweening between the two frames I want to render, and that's what it does. And what it does is it makes the curve slightly blurred, which is obvious, especially when I go to the very beginning here and I render it again. So you see in the time slider, Maya reruns the simulation, not visible in the viewport, but only for rendering, because it needs the information about the position of everything before and after the frame I want to render with motion blur. And I can forget this scene now because the nice lines are not visible anymore, the curves. Only the in between, the trails as they're called, are visible, but not the actual curves. So I deactivated motion blur in order to see the curves again. And here they are, and they are really elegant. Arnold renders curves with brilliance, really nice. And now I could play with the position of the camera and find a nice angle of view here and a nice frame for this abstract view here. And this looks much better now, and now you see the depth of field working. The motion blur is a way to blur certain parts of the image depending on the motion, and the depth of field is a similar effect in if you have a still image, but similar in the way that it blurs certain parts, the parts which are closer to the camera and further away from the camera. And but in this case, because I needed the curves, motion blur was the way not to proceed, and instead depth of field was. And here you see a very shallow depth of field because it's a macro scene basically. It's only a few centimeters long, this particle system, and the camera is right in the middle, so it's a macro system. And down here you have the Arnold section, and in the Arnold section is the enabled depth of field. It is enabled, and the current distance I'm rendering in focus is 12 units. Well, that's 12 centimeters. And below that value about the focus distance, you have the aperture size. When I reduce this from 0.2 to 0.1, I get more things in focus. It's not that shallow anymore, but it's still quite shallow because it's a macro scene. The white in the background is because the sky dome light is white by default. And this is excellent for this rendering, really. I tried it in black as well, or in with the ramp going from black to white. But this is just a perfect scene here with just a white light, a single light in the scene. Pretty amazing. No shadows because there is no geometry to put a shadow on. And it's always exciting to see the rendering going on, because sometimes I even appreciate and prefer the graininess when the rendering process starts. Of course, you can do that, preserve that by lowering the anti-aliasing attribute in the render settings of Arnold. Now I raise the intensity of the sky dome light, and I see many things are losing shape, and the contrast is too low now because everything is overwhelmed by that white of the sky dome shader. So this is nice too, but I think I need a little bit less light. And this is too little. So the 1 in this case works perfectly fine for the intensity. Now I change the render settings, the anti-aliasing a little bit higher, which takes away the graininess in the blurred parts especially. And I change the rendering system here to PNG, and I render only the perspective 1 camera. That's the camera I positioned right into the stream of the particles, and now I can change the rendering size from 1000 pixels wide to 4000. And now, of course, Maya, especially on my old machine at home, which is a €400 PC I bought maybe 5 years ago, it takes some time, but it renders things all right. I really like that graininess, although Arnold is just starting to render the scene. And this is the original rendering size. So lots of detail here, really nice to see. Well, that's what I wanted to show you. If you experiment with Maya and you find angles of view which are really interesting, try to set an interesting light and find a nice angle, and try out motion blur and depth of field, and then use it for your show reel. Bye bye.